Well, Katie, it's hard to imagine, this year we're approaching the 25th anniversary of the terrorist attack of September 11th, and New York still remains the top target for terrorism anywhere in the world. And I think when you look at what happened over the weekend, it is a harsh reminder about the challenges that we face protecting the largest city in the country. The NYPD does a phenomenal job. But we saw Mayor Mamdani's reaction, and his focus was on white supremacy and the protesters outside of Gracie Mansion, as opposed to the two radicalized Islamic terrorists who tried to detonate a bomb outside of his residence. And the fact is that, Commissioner Tisch rightly called it what it is. It is Islamic terrorists, that ISIS inspired. And unfortunately, I think the mayor doesn't understand the challenge before him as mayor of the largest city and the city that is most likely to be, victim of a terrorist attack.
Do you really believe that he doesn't understand the challenge given his activism before he became mayor, calling for second intifada? His father is a professor at Columbia University who believes that suicide bombing should be a normalized aspect of warfare. His wife, of course, doesn't believe that October 7th was really a terrorist attack and believes that the rape that happened was a hoax. So do you think that he really doesn't understand it, or he's just approaching it in a different way?
Well, he's certainly approaching it in a different way, but the responsibility as mayor is to ensure the safety and well-being of every New Yorker. And I'm not sure he has fully processed that, both in terms of the policies that he is trying to implement with the NYPD. For instance, he's trying to cut the NYPD by 5,000 officers in keeping with his defund the police mantra. Or a simple fact, he has not called on Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries to make sure that the Department of Homeland Security is fully funded. Right. The fact is the Department of Homeland Security was created after 9/11 precisely to help coordinate the responses to counterterrorism, among other issues, to keep the homeland safe. And it is critical that that department be fully funded to coordinate with agencies like the NYPD. And he should be demanding Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries get back to Washington immediately and do their jobs.
Yeah, to keep their constituents safe from homemade IEDs that are packed with bolts to do maximum damage. New York Governor Kathy Hochul has said that there's going to be an increased police presence at different sensitive sites. She also talked about the National Guard. You have these reports that the Iranian regime is activating sleeper cells. The last time an IED was deployed in New York City was 2017. Do you think officials are ready and capable of handling this? We saw the police jump into action this weekend, but they got very lucky that those bombs didn't go off.
No question. We're fortunate that the bombs didn't go off. I also commend the brave NYPD officers who ran towards the bombs and tried to protect everyone and did so successfully. But this is a great concern that I have. The NYPD does their job, and they do it very well, and they have the appropriate training and certainly have had the resources. However, this is my big concern with the fact that the Department of Homeland Security is not funded at a time in which we are engaged in hostilities in the Middle East. Mm-hmm. There's no question that Iran and its terror proxy network around the globe is going to try and take action to, cause harm across the globe. And I think that is something that we have to take seriously. It's time for Democrats in Washington to put their politics aside. Yep. And absolutely. Do the right thing and fund the Department of Homeland Security, period. It
proves again that the Iranian regime is a terrorist regime that we have to take very seriously, even here at home. Congressman Mike Lawler, thank you so much for joining us. Yes.
By the way, 53 Democrats voted against labeling Iran the largest state sponsor of terrorism. 53 Democrats. It's insane.
That is insane. Thank you for the reminder. Thank you, Congressman. Have a good one. Have you back soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.